Hey, caught me lighting up a pipe. Or pipe, packing a pipe. But it's 420, so let's get high. So you may have noticed I got this very cool thing on my lighter holder. See, it's called a toker poker. Here, light up your pipe, and it just won't light because it's stuck. And you got to put down your pipe and look for something you can stick in there so you can get your pipe clean. See, but this, you light it up and it ain't going. And you just flip it open, stick it in, and you're right there. I love it. They say if you lose, if you lose money, you lost nothing. You always get more money. If you lost time, you lost a lot. It's not like that, saves your time. But if you lost your spirit, then you lost it all. So, to keep everyone's spirit, first of all, it's good to get high because it does elevate one's spirit. And it's very important to elevate. And, even in the Jewish, even modern Judaism, you got the airlines with El Al, which means go high. And when you go up to read from the Torah in the shul, they call it an aliyah, go get high. And of course, the word ashan, which means smoke, as the matria of 420, as the acrostic of Olin Shomer Nefesh, everything is just smoke. Nonetheless, one can get high and just feel like, hey, man, everything is really all right. But we know it's not. You're getting a high because you just want to get above it for a while so that you can deal with it. Because the gravity of what's going on in the world is so enormous that everyone's looking for something to get there and get them into some sort of different reality. And it might be alcohol, which is really not a very good product, but certainly an ancient thing people have been doing forever, and but it has a lot of harmful effects. People become alcoholics. It affects the body, and yet, drugs kill pain. About alcohol, drugs, the pain, and sometimes it's not the pain. I mean, God made the body to feel pain. If you don't feel pain, you're not going to know that you're being hurt. So it's a thing that a couple of years ago, I fell and I broke 2 ribs. I really broke them, and I cracked them. I broke them. It was like the space between my ribs, and it really hurt. And and I they wanted to give me oxycodone or something, and I said, no, I'll stick with Tylenol. Because I felt as long as I could feel the pain, I wouldn't move in that way. My body was telling me, if you move like that, you're doing harm. That was the purpose of pain. So sometimes, a lot of the people complain about Western medicine is that Western medicine is trying to fix the symptom and not the cause. And the reason is because Western civilization, which is really Roman civilization, is about speed and about, expediency. So it's more expedient to have a worker who gets sick and you can give him a pill so he can come and work than try to fix the problem, which is going to probably cause him to be out of work for a long time. And in the end, he'll die early because he didn't know what the cause, just dealt with the symptom, which works out good for, Western civilization, which really just monetizes everything. So, looks at the worker, not what's good for the worker. How can we make the most of the worker? How can we do it? Well, we have to, first get him, give him all the medications, whatever he needs, so he can work every day and work really hard. Yeah, I was surprised to see, one of these news things that the guy who owns Amazon. So, the guy's going up into outer space. He doesn't pay any taxes, so we pay the taxes, and therefore he can go up into outer space. I guess that's what you get when you're the richest person in the world. You don't have to pay anything. And you get to go up into outer space because all that money could have helped people on the earth. But instead, he feels that his workers are, the worker in general is lazy. And you need a taskmaster there all the time with the whip that's like, making them work faster. Yeah, I saw some report, I think, on the NewsHour, PBS NewsHour, where they were tired. These guys have to like handle a product like every few seconds. I mean, it's just unbelievable what they have gotten the human being down to doing, and then they pay them and they give them some benefits, good benefits, considered that nobody has really has any other benefits. So they're just squeezing the human being for every bit that they have. And the question is, why are they doing this? I mean, they already got all the money in the world. What do they want? They want to go up into outer space. I mean, the whole thing is kind of ludicrous. Why would it's sort of like, like a person who works really hard so he can go to Las Vegas and gamble away his money. It seems rather, ridiculous. Why are you doing this? And particularly if you have to, like, really keep other people down, make a war out of everything, take a side, so that you can win because you're the loudest and you're the, more braggadocious and you're the, whatever, you're the big bully and you can win, but you can only win if there's a fight. If no one's fighting, you can't win. So they're always going around like picking fights, dividing people, divide and conquer. That's what Rome does. So the question is, really, this is such a huge thing in the world. I mean, Rome has truly conquered the world. I mean, there's shits everywhere. And sure, they're fighting with Russia or most of China because they're afraid of losing dominance. Well, what could be worse than losing dominance? I mean, birds, when they fly, they go together in a V. What does the V do? It cuts breaks the wind. And so the one in the, they always go in a V, and the one in the front, he's the strongest bird. And he can, he sees further, he's in the front, but more, he's the strongest. He can break this gush of air coming at them. So the other birds, they got a nice, way to fly. Sort of like if first class took all the punishment, the people in the back, they got a nice smooth flight. And but it's not like they elect a bird and he does it. They do it by the strongest bird, and the strongest bird has the best sight and will make it easier for everyone. They can forge forward, and when they're not the strongest bird anymore, what do? Hey, they back up. They let someone else go. Now you're the strongest bird. And they take turns, and in this way, they get to where they're going, and they always fly in a V, and everyone's very happy. And what could be better? And we need to learn, and many things that we learn from the animal. Animal learns from us. We learn from the animal. And because it's not, about the fittest. Maybe if you're a lion or a tiger or a bear or something, it's about the fittest. But for everyone else, it's really more about cooperation. You don't want to go in someone else's territory. You don't want to disturb things, but you also, you want to find a place where you can do your thing, whatever it is. It's a human thing. You want to do it. It should be a place you can do your thing. But unfortunately, in America, which is really, the seat of Rome, truly it is in America. And instead of being a country for the people, by the people, it's a country, for certain people, administered by certain people, and the rest of us, we don't like it, we can leave. But America is an immigrant country, and the beauty of America and why America really supports a democracy is because we're all equal. We're all equally immigrants, and except for the native people who we pretty much decimated, that we're all immigrants, and in that we're all like equally free, and that's a beautiful thing. And other people don't have that because they had kings and this and that and their whole hierarchy. And we don't have that. Even if you come 100 years later, you're still an equal American because we're all equally immigrants. Some are new immigrants, some are old immigrants, but we're all immigrants. And there's something beautiful about that. And it really supports democracy. Democracy doesn't work everywhere. Like, it doesn't work, in Russia. For thousands of years, they're under a czar. And then they're under communism, and now suddenly they're under, some sort of capitalism. And what do they want? And you see it, they want a strong leader for a long time. Yeah, America tries to get it there. Hey, look at what we got, man. And, and make other countries jealous of us and want to be like us. And that's really dumb. Because our system fits our country, a country of immigrants. It doesn't fit Russia, which is used to a strong leader who stays in power for many years. And anyone in power, it doesn't matter how powerful you are. You have one fear, and that fear is fear of the people. Because if you piss the people off, all your money, all your power ain't going to put ain't going to do nothing, man. There ain't enough police in the world to stop the people. But, the people don't want that, because once you do that and you upset everything, it's so hard, to build back, new. But it's hard to fix a thing which is endemically crooked. And to really understand the the depth of this crookedness, you really have to go back to before creation. When the Creator said, I want to create the human being. Who was the Creator talking to? I already created, the heavens and the earth and the angels. The God was talking to the angels. And God asked their advice. What do you think? Angels think I should do it? So most of the angels, you want to do it, do it. I'm an angel. I'll do whichever you say. But some of the angels, they had some chutzpah. And, and they said, what's going to happen when the human being who is imperfect pisses you off? What then? Maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you should think again about, creating the human being. Just going to piss you off, make all this trouble. Just forget it. Just don't even create them. So, God had a few answers. God said, well, I'll learn to be benevolent, to be compassionate. and I'll learn to be patient. And also, I got Abraham in my pocket. Who's Abraham? So Abraham's a very special soul. And at the year, it was almost the year 2000 since the creation of the first human being. And Abraham was born in the Tower of Babel, which is built on Mars. And the Tower of Babel, because they were really making a war against God. So God wanted to just destroy the whole thing. But the angels reminded God that, Abraham's in the Tower of Babel. So God destroyed the top part, and the bottom part fell to the earth. And the middle part, it was so tall that you could walk beneath its shadow for 3 days. And that's where Abraham lived until, God gave Abraham a body. And because the people there, even though, because they had worked together and cooperated, that God didn't kill them. God just took away their bodies. And therefore they would never die. And I don't know about procreate, but they would certainly never die. And if they procreated, it was very seldomly. And Abraham was there, and Nimrod, who had built the tower and he's the one really at war with God. So Abraham began to be, a problem. He was asking too many questions. Nimrod said he was God, and Abraham said, so stop the sun. And Nimrod couldn't do it. And he was looking bad in front of the other people who didn't have bodies. At one point, he tried to kill Abraham, throw him out into the atmosphere of Mars. But Abraham didn't die. But his brother died. Because his brother said, if Abraham survives, then I stand for Abraham. And he didn't. They threw him out there and he died. So at that point, they left. But they didn't come to the earth for some years later, a few decades later, when God said to Abraham, it's time to go. You're going to stop being an ephemeral person. You're going to come down to the earth at the age of 75, and I'm going to make you a physical body, and you are going to have children, and your children will have children, and you will have 12 tribes, and you will have a people so great that there'll be more than the sand, the sand in the sea, the stars in the sky. There'll be great multitudes of people. From little over Abraham, and so he went. And as soon as he came to the earth, everyone recognized how great this man was. And he came with a whole herd of people that he had made while hanging out, on the moon between Mars and the earth. And he brought them with him. And they brought new things to the earth and new ways of understanding things. And, I forget how you pronounce their names in anything. But anyways, and the way that his children, Yitzchak and Ishmael, became great is because Abraham was so great in language, taught them each a language, talked to them, one in Arabic, one in Hebrew, showed them how to write a phonetic language. And through that, they became great people in a world where everything had been reduced to iconic communication. And then these two children, well, it's interesting to see that Ishmael, he has 12 tribes. Esau, which is the Ishmael has 12 tribes. Yitzchak has 2 sons. Yaakov, instead of 12 tribes, he had 2 sons, Yaakov and Esau. And each of those had 12 tribes. So Esau has 12 tribes, Yaakov has 12 tribes, and Ishmael has 12 tribes. And these 12 tribes become like very great people. The 12 tribes of Ishmael become the Arabic people who lived throughout the Middle East. Esau became Rome, and Yaakov became Yisrael, the 12 tribes of Yisrael, who lived in Eretz Yisrael, the land given to the person who would do the 613 commandments. Many of them only can be done on the land. And that was Yisrael, and that's what Yaakov, Yisrael, the same person, bought these the right to live on this land and take the inheritance, the spiritual inheritance that goes along with it, from his brother Esau for some porridge, and later went in and tricked him, Yitzchak, while he was, his old age, he couldn't see right, tricked him into thinking it was Esau so he could steal the blessing, which belonged to him anyways because he had already bought the firstborn. And but that, Esau, you saw from the very beginning when he was born, he was pushing, he wanted to be first. He didn't know why. He just always, that's Esau. He wants to be first. He wants to get everything be first, get all the adoration. Look, we did it, That's Esau, and that's Rome. And that's really, what, because we are all born with a kind of nature. But the nature of generation, and we're supposed to be fixing these things, the things that are wrong in the personality. We need to fix it. And I don't know, it's not, but it's not like Rome, lives by the sword. That's and in the end, we're supposed to beat the swords into plowshares and have 1,000 years of peace, 1,000 years of woman. So we know that that's a thing, but it has to be fixed. And the Arabs, they're known for other things, and the Jews are known for things. We all have things in our personality which are both good and bad. And now, just 220 years before the end of the 6,000-year calendar, which begins with the first human being, that God created knowing that if this guy was imperfect and had children that were just untenable, well, I got Abraham here, and I'll put him there, and he'll make 3 great people, and even more. Later, he gets married to Keturah after Sarah passes away. I'm about to get shut off here. Just a minute. Yes, and has 6 sons, and sends them to the east with a language without a written form. And they become the Iranians, and they go in and take the land of the Kurds, and that's where they have a people. And then they go further and to make themselves Brahmins from Abraham, and to write the Vedas, which eventually gave birth to Buddhism. And through Buddhism and through the Torah and the Quran, the 2 prophetic books, this has really I would say has informed the world and made the world better through knowledge. Rome is the big problem because Esau sold his birthright. And when Rome conquered the Greeks, they took the Greek gods, they shaved them, gave them different names, and said these are the Roman gods. And they made up, took these mythologies, whatever, and made up stories and applied these to the planets and called the planets by these names, and then established time according to their new god, who was a Jewish rabbi that they crucified on a cross. None of which can be corroborated in history. Not even that Jesus lived can be corroborated in history. And so this is because what does Rome do? They want to win. They sold their family jewels. They don't know what to do, so they lie. And they create things and they force people to do what they want to do because they want to be the ones who win. And we see it now, like in the Congress, that America is close to being a majority minority country, which is really good if you live in a immigrant country. That's what you want. You want the majority of the people to be part of the minority. I mean, that's really how we all should be. We're all just part of the minority. There is no majority. There's just a bunch of minorities. But it's not there yet. And the other side is holding on. They got to win. And you see it in Congress. These guys will do, it no longer matters what the problem is or what the solution is. They just got to win. And so, the whole governing apparatus, which is certainly most of the Constitution, we know the Bill of Rights, but, most of the Constitution is about how this thing is supposed to operate. And this has been going on for so long, certainly for the last 40 years, where they've done anything they can to take control of this country and the finances of this country, the wealth of this country, and to use it, again, to make war, to force other people to be under the thumb of Rome. Because what could be better than that everything should be Roman? Everything should be a lie. And we're covered with this veneer, this lying veneer. But a little bit of truth, breaks through the veneer. And then the whole thing cracks. And it's cracking, really before our eyes, under the weight of all the lies they've told in all the different ways in which they try to define reality, whether it's science or religion or academics. Every part of it, it's a lie. Based on the Big Bang Theory, all this shit just happened and nothing matters except get as much as you can while you're here. And this is not the truth. This is the major lie of Rome, how they get everyone to work in these jobs. And now we're in this transition where people are rethinking this and thinking, maybe I can do better for myself than just, working, for Rome. Maybe I can be a free person. That's what America is about, free. And free means doing the job you love. We all want to work, but we want to work at what we love. Okay. Guess that's a good place to end things today. I hope everyone is doing very well. I hope that you're high and feeling good, because the future is really opening up to be just brilliance, just so good. And sometimes when things are bad, you don't want to open your eyes. But if you really open your eyes and see what's happening, it's unbelievable. Because all my life, they've been watching me, but now we're all watching them. There's nowhere where they can hide. And this thing is going to change, and it doesn't have to change quickly. Other things will change. And it will become evident how we're meant to govern ourselves. Certainly not to be, the sword of Rome and the coin of Rome and the government of Rome, because that just ain't working. All right. Check me out, dovidhouse.com. Bye.